की आन का है, कुछ नशा मातृभूमि की शान का है। हम लहराएंगे हर जगह ये तिरंगा, नशा ये हिंदुस्तान के सम्मान का है।
Good morning, teachers and my dear friends. Today's assembly is conducted by class 9th C and 9th D. On this day, let us make a promise to strive for justice, freedom, and equal rights for every Indian, and for peace and unity among all who are fortunate enough to live in this glorious nation. Wishing you a very happy Republic Day.
Today is a proud moment for every Indian, as the nation is celebrating its culture, history, and pride on its 73rd Republic Day. What a better way to begin our day than to pray with faith and express it with our sincere thanks to the Almighty. Here is Abhay Luthra with today's prayer.
Words, so innocent and powerless as they are standing in a dictionary. How potent for good and evil they become in the hands of one who knows how to combine them. To remind us how powerful and inspiring words can be, here is Kushagra Kural and Aditi Solanki with the thought of the day.
The thought of the day is by APJ Abdul Kalam. You cannot change your future, but you can change your habits, and surely your habits will change your future. Sir Abdul Kalam's life in itself is a motivation for students and everyone. This is a very powerful motivational quote to start your day. A small lifestyle and habit change can make a huge difference in your life. It might be how many hours you study, when you wake up, or when you go to sleep, the books you read. It can be anything. But make sure you are doing something that would be beneficial to you in the future. Thank you and have a nice day.
श्री एपीजे अब्दुल कलाम द्वारा लिखित सुविचार। आप अपना भविष्य नहीं बदल सकते, लेकिन आप अपनी आदतें बदल सकते हैं, और निश्चित रूप से ही आपकी आदतें आपका भविष्य बदल देंगी। धन्यवाद।
Freedom is hammered out on the anvil of discussion, dissent, and debate. Now we'll be having an intersection debate on the topic, Are we truly democratic? Today's judges for the debate are Mrs. Shivani Pental and Mrs. Jyotsna Verma. The participants will be judged on the basis of content, presentation, fluency, and originality. Participants from class 9A, B, C, D, and E will speak against the topic. Participants from class 9F, G, H, J, K, and L will speak in favor of the topic. Every participant can speak for maximum 3 minutes. Everyone kindly note that the order of the appearance of participants has been decided by random selection. The ignorance of one voter in a democracy impairs the security of all. On that note, I would like to call Aditi Solanki of class 9T.
Good morning, one and all. I am Aditi Solanki from class 9D, and I'm going to be speaking against today's topic. Are we truly democratic? Abraham Lincoln defined democratic government as a government of, for, and by the people. This definition was true to the spirit of the original democracy in the ancient Greek city states, where all males above 18 years were participating in the day to day affairs of the government. The preamble to the Constitution of India states that India is a democratic country. The system of the governed country will be governed by the representatives of the people. The people will run the country for themselves and the administration will be accountable to the people. But the fact that our country is a true democracy or not is highly debatable. In a democracy, everyone should be given a fair chance to elect or to get elected. While campaigning for an election, a candidate, party isn't allowed to bribe or threaten any voters or appeal to them in the name of caste or religion. But regardless, most parties do it anyways. For example, candidates in South India distribute saris to the women and lungis and shirts to the men. And in West Bengal, votes are polarized. The preamble to the constitution states that in a democracy, the administration will be accountable to the people. But in many cases, the administration is seen to be taking a different form instead of such. EVMs are found here and there when elections are around. It is a sheer irresponsibility and stagnancy towards their duties by the authorities. Do these works follow the characteristics of a democratic state? In a democracy, people elect representatives for the problem and through them conveys to the government its problems, needs, etc. The government is no different. People's representatives form a coalition to run the country, the state. The people's elected representatives abuse power after being elected. People choose them for the betterment of society, for the betterment of their community, for the betterment of their country. But most of the people's representatives are busy managing their wealth after they're elected. Is it a democracy where promises made doesn't make anything better? Why do the leaders of this democratic country organize huge rallies and public meetings at the expense of the taxpayers' money? Now, looking into the above said statements and examples, are we truly democratic? Thank you.
Thank you so much, Aditi. Now, I would like to call Aditya Shaurya of class 9B to share some views.
Good morning to all. Today, I, Aditya Shaurya of class 9th B, will be speaking against the topic, Are we truly democratic? We, the people of India, having solemnly resolved to constitute India into a sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic republic, is how the preamble of our constitution begins. India has housed all creeds, castes, and religions since its conception as a sovereign state and has been glorified as the beacon of unity fueled from its diversity. But under the recent political climate with an extreme right inclination, the true spirit of democracy has declined staggeringly. Toxic ideology derived from the majority religion in the country, Hindutva, has already begun undermining one of the key pillars of our constitution, secularism. as the politicians in power exploit people's religious motivations for vote and further their own toxic religious ideologies, minorities have been suffering. We have come across several instances of Muslims being targeted due to politically backed false propaganda. Repeated cases of Muslim citizens being mob lynched have been observed throughout the country, with most cases being incited by crowds, forcing the victims to chant Hindu slogans. These biases against Islam are even clearly visible in the renaming of major cities and landmarks with Islamic names rooted in culture and history. Having been declared an electoral autocracy by many international credible sources, India is slowly slipping away from the people and converging into the hands of political vultures who distract the people from actual problems and prey upon their faith. Our leaders are failing us as a democratic people. Attacks against the media, followed by polarization of the society by dismissing and disrespecting the opposition and spreading false information, culminated into the democratic fabric of our country being undermined. The same has been observed by the world, and India has hence been demoted from an electoral democracy. Censorship efforts by the government have been increasingly intense, and biased news is delivered to the common man, which has resulted in India slipping to 142nd rank in press freedom. Voices of journalists who criticize the government have been suppressed, and any criticism that does surface is either dismissed entirely or dispelled as fake news. Our government has restricted our freedom of speech. They fail to answer our questions or concerns about burning issues of national importance. And with the lines drawn between the religions turning more and more distinct with each passing day, India faces a crisis like none before. Thus, it is our duty as citizens of a once truly democratic nation to make ourselves aware, take action, and reinstate India as a democracy in essence, as was the original dream. Thank you.
Good morning, one and all. Today, I, Sarthak Dagal, will be presenting my views against the topic Are we truly democratic? My mind goes to an article written by Mr. Arvind Kejriwal in 2010. In that, he was of the view that India is not a true democracy, as the common man does not have any control over how the revenue generated in the country is used to ensure a just and secure life for them. As per him, even a beggar, while buying a bar of soap or any item, pays taxes as part of the excise and sales tax. However, the expenditure is planned by the elected government based on its priorities. Once elected, the government has a free run for the next 5 years, till the time we get to choose the next government. In the case of a coalition government, it becomes even murkier. People in India are more aware of their rights than duties and constitutional obligations. In 2009, my father went to Poland as an instructor on a UN course. While explaining India's democracy, the participants of the course said that this is not a democracy, this is anarchy, where anyone can question the decisions of the Prime Minister. In Western democracies, the biggest crime is non-payment of taxes. However, in India, it's taken as a privilege. We, the people, gave ourselves the constitution. The governance here is by the people, of the people, and for the people. However, the VIP culture visible everywhere in the country makes it seem otherwise. In the end, I rest my case that for India to be truly democratic, there's a strong need to fall back to the basic values and ethics this country is known for. Fundamental duties are as important as the rights, if not more. Thank you.
What a memorable performance, Sarthak. Thank you. A mediocre speaker tells, a good speaker explains, the superior speaker demonstrates, but the great speaker inspires. On this note, we have Anika Singh from 9th L to speak in favor of today's topic.
Good morning, everyone. Today, I, Anika Singh, will be speaking in favor of the motion, Are we truly democratic? So, what is democracy? Democracy is a government by the people in which the supreme power is vested in the people and exercised directly by them or by their elected agents under a free electoral system. India has been a democratic nation since the year 1950. The preamble to the Constitution declares India to be a sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic republic and a welfare state committed to secure justice, liberty, and equality for the people and for promoting fraternity and dignity of the individual. The opening and last sentences of the preamble signifies that the power is ultimately vested in the hands of the people. The Constitution vests many fundamental rights in citizens, and that includes the right to speech and expression that constitutes the flesh and bone of the democratic apparatus. A democracy must have political parties, fair elections, and a government for a fixed tenure. Well, with all honesty, our country has all of that. In fact, the Election Commission of India has been one of the most efficient and transparent autonomous bodies under the Ministry of Law and Justice. In a country of approximately 1.3 billion people with more than 3,000 castes and 25,000 subcastes, equality among citizens is not possible without a well-functioning democracy. Citizens of India have the right to elect their leaders, and this avoids the monopoly of authority. Indian democracy promotes equality irrespective of their caste, color, creed, religion, and gender. It promotes for change without any violence. To conclude, I would like to say that India is a maturing democracy. Our democratic institutions are getting strengthened by each passing day. Sometimes we tend to denigrate our democracy by quoting incidents of violence, especially against minorities. These incidents are largely law and order problems, which are dealt in accordance with the rule of law. I am certain that with the passage of time, India will not only be the largest democracy, but also a shining example of the best democratic nation. Thank you.
Those were some very convincing points, Anika. Thank you so much. Deliberation and debate is the way you stir the soul of a democracy. Moving on, I would like to call Guneet Kaur Duggal of Class 9F.
Abraham Lincoln once said that a democracy is the government of the people, by the people, and for the people. And India is the largest democracy in the world. Good morning. Today I, Guneet, will speak in the favor of this topic and try to prove this statement. Indian democracy is infused with the spirit of justice, liberty, and equality. All citizens of the country are guaranteed some basic fundamental rights like the right to equality, right to freedom of religion, right to constitutional remedies, and right against exploitation. The government is bound to work in the limits set by the Constitution, and it's the work of the judiciary to protect the individual rights of the citizens. If people think that their rights are violated by the government, they definitely have the access to the court. They can also hold a peaceful protest against this, and they also have the right to change the government. The power to change the ruling government is in the hands of the citizen. The citizens have the power to openly represent their dissatisfaction with the present government. Also, the elections in India are organized by an independent autonomous body called the Election Commission. It is independent of the ruling government. Ever since India gained independence, it is practicing universal adult franchise. That is, all citizens who are adults have the right to vote, irrespective of their background. On the voting day, we see that all adults of the country, irrespective of their caste, creed, gender, wealth, religion, etc., come together to cast their vote. Also, the power to make the final decision lies in the hands of those who are elected by us, our elected representatives. The power of the country has not been concentrated in the hands of any one organization. It has been divided in the legislature, the judiciary, and the executive, and these institutions are independent of each other. They do not have an access on each other, but they do supervise the work of each other. The government of the country is subject to a well-interpreted, independent judiciary, and the government works on the opinion of public opinion's freedom. The legislature of the India provides an appropriate platform to express our public opinion. Finally, to conclude today, I would say that if India was not a democratic nation, we would not be able to hold a debate on such a sensitive topic here today. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Guneet. Those were some very convincing points. Now, I would like to call Vidhan Mehta of Class 9H to share some views.
Very good morning to respected Principal Ma'am, Honorable Teacher, and my dear friends. Before starting this debate, first let us understand the dictionary meaning of democracy. A system of government by the whole population or the eligible member of a state, typically through elected representatives. That means people have to elect representatives through elections. And after these elected representatives will form the government. Even Abraham Lincoln said that democracy is of the people, by the people, and for the people. Now, let us see if this applies to us. Yes, it applies to us in totality. What else one could expect from this process? We have election at various levels. Well, ma'am, just wait a minute. There's some bug. Let me fix it first, then can I continue?
Good morning, Vidhan. What is the issue, bache?
Ma'am, actually there's some problems going on. Let us see if this applies to us. Yes, it applies to us in totality. What else one could expect from this process? We have election at various levels. First is grassroots level, that is panchayat level. Second is municipal level. Third is state level. And fourth is national level. Election is done for a panchayat at village level. We have municipal corporation in the urban areas where we have councillors who form the mayor. At the state level, MLAs are elected and they form the government. And at the end, we have election at central level for the parliament, where MP are elected. Now, one must understand that government formed at this panchayat may not of the same party. Add that to the municipal corporation. The elected representatives in municipal corporation may not of the same party, as the party belongs to the state government. And even the state government, for that matter, of 28 states and 8 union territories that we have may be different. They may be the regional parties and they may not be offshoot of the main political party at the center. So that means in a democratic process, the regional party will champion the cause of the regional issues. And the central level, the government may be of a particular party to which the party of the same state may be different party. Yet there are some obligations and the center is bound to support. The state government, with so much variety of elections and with this much spread in this entire country, with this much regional aspirations and national aspiration and vice versa, yet our country is doing extremely well on all the fronts, especially on economic front. Now a question arises, is this the process of election followed anywhere in the world? Well, to my mind, I don't think so. Now, some of my friends or the opposition might say that we are not democratic because we are not allowed to speak. We are not allowed to express ourselves. Gentlemen, the issue is that freedom of expression that we enjoy in India, in our nation, is unparalleled. Nobody can compete in the freedom of expression that we enjoy today. In all the so-called democratic nation, well, I would not like to name democracies like Pakistan, China, or America, where it is just Democrats in the name, but when it comes to the application, then they are found waiting to substantiate. Of what I be saying about freedom of expression, don't we have strikes? Don't we have protest? We had protests like NRC, and we also had recent protests where farmer protested. They blocked the entire capital, and especially the Kundli border. They were there for more than a year. Yet the government did not force them out. They did not put behind them bars. They did not use any force. And finally, they came up to democracy. And the government repealed the farm law. What else is expected from the country? Just imagine the same thing happening in America, same thing happening in China, same thing happening in Pakistan. Would anybody tolerate this? It is only in our nation that we are truly democratic. Some of you also say that we do not have expression in social media. Anybody who tweets something, anybody who says something on Facebook, the government is harsh on them. Gentlemen, let's try to understand and what is freedom of expression. My freedom of expression ends when I enter your space. Well, if I move my hand and it is threatening your face, then it is not my freedom of expression. My freedom of expression when the other person is not get threatened. In the similar manner, when you start writing, when you start expressing, when you start speaking something abusive, which is against the elected PM or the majority government, which represents the whole nation who have elected them to that power. And I would just like to call the JNU protest where they said, Bharat tere honge tukde hazar, inshallah, inshallah. Now, if I was there as a king, I would call it a treason. I would call it an anti-nationalist and I would take action against them. But the government in democracy did not take any of those. They followed the course of law. And the gentlemen, in this democracy, we have judiciary, which is the fourth pillar. And anything by the government cannot be done in insulating, has to be supported by the judiciary. So, therefore, I would just like to sum up my views. Are we truly democratic? So, with 100% insurance, and I can proudly say that we are democratic, and nobody is democratic than our nation. Thank you. Jai Hind.
On August 14, 2019, HRW called for an impartial investigation into the July 18 killing of 3 men by security forces in J&K believing laborers as militants. After extending her detention by 3 months during the year, authorities released Mehbooba Mufti, who had been detained under the Public Safety Act. Greetings to all. Today I, Pari Vashisht of class 9A, is standing against the topic, are we truly democratic? Reading the above case studies, I am in a state of shock, seeing the level of corruption and how our democracy is being violated on the grounds of arbitrary or unlawful interference with the privacy of the people. The essence of democracy is the participation of people in day-to-day affairs of the state. Regular election, multi-party system, media are not the sufficient things for a country to be democratic. Protection of fundamental rights of community, rule of law, dispersal of power, and the ultimate sovereignty are other ingredients of democracy. If we take example of Switzerland, a rare example of democracy, at any political level, citizens can propose changes to the constitution. According to the latest democracy index, India slipped 2 places to 53rd position. And why not?
we see so many causes of democracy backsliding. When groups take law into their hands and kill a person, then the rule of law disappears. When Christians are attacked for proselytization, then minority rights are breached. When Dalits are attacked by powerful social groups and the state fails to penalize such attacks, then not just rule of law but equality before law also breaks down. Well, our country will only be democratic if we have free and fair election without rigging of votes or capturing of votes and reduction in poverty and a government that works according to people's will. In a state where individual rights and liberty are abrogated and the level of corruption is overpriced, in my perspective, it cannot be a true democracy, and that's what India is. Thank you.
It was indeed a powerful performance. Thank you, Pari. John F. Kennedy once said, "Without debate, without criticism, no administration and no country can succeed, and no republic can survive." Keeping in mind the importance of debates, here is Kushagra Kural of 9th C to speak against the topic.
कश्मीर की आजादी तक जंग चलेगी, भारत की बर्बादी तक जंग चलेगी, cried the students of JNU. अफजल मांगे आजादी, गिलानी मांगे आजादी, छीन के लेंगे आजादी, cried the students of Jadavpur University. Good morning, esteemed judges, teachers, and my dear friends. I extend my apologies for exercising freedom of speech in democracy, raising slogans befitted for terrorists and not students. I, Kushagra, stand before you to speak against the topic, are we truly democratic? Do India's 1.4 billion people still live in a real democracy? To the average Indian, the question may seem ludicrous. Freedom of speech seems to be the fundamental right of India and is considered to be an essential ingredient of democracy. Often in our country, freedom and democracy are used interchangeably, but let me remind you that the two are not synonymous. Democracy is a set of ideas and principles which consist of practice and procedures and duties, whereas freedom means to act without constraint. When I speak of democracy's right to speech, nothing stops these foul-mouthed capitalist politicians like Owaisi to demean and speak foul about the Prime Minister of our country. They feel it is an achievement to abuse police and army publicly. For all my friends opposing me who were not even in their diapers during 1999 and 2000 when we lost the Battle of Tululing due to Eager Barka Dutt, who under freedom of speech was giving away the life preparation, not to the world, but also to the enemies. As for the other aspects of democracy, the essence of democracy is the participation of people in the day-to-day affairs of the state. Mayor elections are not democracy. The elections become necessary when due to large populations, people have to govern the state through their elected representatives. For participation in governance, the citizen has to be equipped with at least basic human rights, such as right to live without fear or insecurity, right to employment, right to adequate standard of living, right to enough free education, right to free health and health services, and right to live in a clean and decent environment. Does any of the elected representatives provide these to us? Then how are we democratic? The next requisite for a democracy is to have social and economic equality, and in any case, we have the least possible equality. In capitalist economic order, we cannot expect such equality. I cannot see any equality being extended to any of the individual in form of money or status. To add an insult to democracy, the rich are becoming richer and the poor are going down in oblivion. The most important for democracy is to have non-discrimination between citizens on any ground, whether caste, race, religion, language, or gender. Therefore, secularism is implicit in a democracy. But sorry to say, except for the Indian Armed Forces, I repeat, except for the Indian Army, Navy, and Air Force, there is not even one organization that can boast of secularism and equality, be it of gender, caste, religion, or economy. Just like Owaisi and Azam Khan threatened the secularism of India by polarizing masses on communal lines, Shaheen Bagh fiasco was outcome of freedom of speech granted to people who have forgotten their obligation to protect the sovereignty of nation. This is not what democracy ever preached, is it? As I end my debate, a wise man once said, democracy in India is only a top dressing on the Indian soil. Essentially, citizens of India are suffering undemocratic. Thank you.
That was a very interesting take. Thank you, Kushagra. Debate and divergence of views can only enrich our history and culture. Now I would like to call Ajita Das of class 9G.
Good morning, respected jury and my dear friends. Today, the topic before the House is, are we truly democratic? And I, Ajita Das of class 9G, shall be speaking for the motion. Individualities may form society, but it is institutions alone that can create a nation, said Benjamin Disraeli, the ex-Prime Minister of the United Kingdom in 1874. The word democracy is derived from the Greek word demokratia, in which demos means people and kratia means the rule. Therefore, democracy literally means the people's rule. Hence, Abraham Lincoln has coined, government is of the people, by the people, for the people, shall not perish from the earth, applies today even after 150 years. First of all, democracy holds a special place in India as it follows a system of government where citizens exercise power by voting. The preamble to the Indian Constitution states that we are a sovereign, socialist, secular, and democratic republic that is secure to all its citizens. Furthermore, India, without a doubt, is the biggest democracy of the world. Of the 10 most populous nations, US and India are the only long established democracies. China and Russia are undisguised autocracies, while the rest of the 6 nations can charitably be described as progressive democracies. The executive, judiciary, and legislature are the features of a democracy which provide an appropriate platform to express public opinion. While Indian democracy has its organs and organizations, its vital breath is liberty, equal rights for all, and special privileges for none. The rule of law has done better in India than any other country of the world. In contrast to totalitarianism, a democracy can face and live with truth about itself. The spirit of justice, equality, and liberty is a feel-good factor that my worthy opponents have taken for granted in our country. So long as they worship Napoleons and Hitlers, they will arise to make them miserable, and the Talibanization of Afghanistan shall continue. I want to ask my opponents if they would like to be a part of Imran's Pakistan, Saddam Hussein's Iraq, Muammar Gaddafi's Libya, Kim Jong-un's North Korea, where autocracy has let loose blood-dimmed tides. Or they would like to be a part of sovereign, socialist, secular, and democratic India. Citizens' right is not what someone gives you. It is what no one can take away from you. At last, but not the least, I would like to conclude by saying, democracy is a precious gift we have inherited from our national patriotic leaders. Every democratic system evolves its own silver lining in spite of having dark clouds. It is not only water, but the banks which make up a river. 2 cheers for democracy. 1, because it accepts variety, and 2, because it permits criticism. Thanks for the patient hearing.
Thank you so much, Ajita. Now, I would like to call Dev Shankar of class 9K to share some views.
Good morning, respected teachers and my dear friends. I am Dev Shankar from class 9K and I am here to speak for the motion of today's topic. So, what do we mean by democracy? The word democracy comes from the Greek word demos, meaning people, and kratos, meaning power. So, democracy can be thought of as power of the people, a way of governing which depends on the will of the people. Coming straight onto the features of democracy, along with the example as to how are we truly democratic. Political equality. Democracy is based on political equality. It means all citizens are considered to be equal before the law and enjoy equal political rights, be it students in any class of our school or elected members of House of Parliament. No one is selected or admitted based on their caste, creed, race, or color of the skin, which makes us a true democracy. Likewise, each one of us has equal value of our vote. That is, one person is equal to one vote. Popular sovereignty. Democracy is based on sovereignty. People can exercise their power in democracy. The recent example of it is the protest by Mr. Anna Hazare and his team in Delhi for the formation of Lokpal, which ultimately was accepted by the government. This, however, would not have been possible in other forms of government. Formation of opinion. Legislature provides the most important platform to estimate and express the public opinion in the form of laws. The recent example is the repeal of three farm laws by the government. Since the laws were made for the farmers, were not accepted by the farmers, they represented in the form of protest. And finally, three bills made by the government for the farmers in 2019 were repealed in 2021, making our nation a true democratic country. Respect for opinion of minorities. In a democratic setup, majority rules, but opinions of minorities are also given respect. They are encouraged to give their opinion, making a country a true democratic nation. It is imperative to mention that in various countries like Pakistan, Indonesia, China, Bangladesh, minorities does not have any say publicly or otherwise. Rather, they are abused. Provision of rights. Democracy provides the individual dignity by giving various rights to the individual. For example, the right to freedom of speech and expression. Whether it was Arnav Goswami, Kangna Ranaut, or Kanhaiya Kumar of JNU, it was through various provisions in the true democracy which allowed them to speak against the government. Media is the fourth pillar of democracy. We all know that the various media houses do objective and fearless reporting. They criticize government's bad policies too. This freedom is not there in China or Russia, where we have one party system form of government. Someone against the motion was pointing out about the inadequacies in fair election. Indeed, it is true. But sometimes politicians do adopt malpractices, but ultimately the fairness of everything depends upon the people of the nation. Therefore, we should all join hands in making a true democracy into a vibrant and ultimate form of government. Yes, our country is a democratic country, but the onus to make it a true democracy lies with the educated young people. We have emerged as strong and stable democracy built on the pillar of justice, equality, and probity, and will shortly emerge as world power. Thank you, and have a wonderful day ahead of you.
What a performance, Dave. Thank you so much. In all debates, let truth be thy aim, not victory or an unjust interest. I'd like to invite Neonika Lawat of 9th J to speak in favor of the topic.
I'm gonna let you decide for yourself, because that's exactly what democratic countries do. I'm entitled to my opinion just like every citizen living in this country, and thus would be speaking in favor of our topic, are we truly democratic? India's democratic character has been seeping into its society, and you see this while interacting with people around. They will have different opinions about everything and will give you different facts and figures in support of their views, and even more so while contradicting another person's view. So where do we get this information from? We get this from all around. We have the right to information, unrestricted use of internet, debates by the members of the civil society, and transparency by the government. During elections in our country, every citizen of age is given one vote of one value, irrespective of their caste, creed, economic background, and social status. Moreover, the opposition too exists to hold the government accountable for any action and every action taken. Recently, Supreme Court of India passed a judgment which declared transgender people the third gender, affirmed that the fundamental rights granted under the Constitution will be equally applicable to them, and gave them the right to self-identification of their gender as male, female, or the third gender. Is all this possible in a non-democratic country? Very clearly, it is not. Why don't we take Afghanistan, for example? The 1950s and the 1960s were remembered as the pinnacle of social liberty in Afghanistan. Men and women could dress as they saw fit, and education was accessible to the latter. Today, after Taliban's takeover, women can't get out of their houses, children can't go to schools, people are starving, and brutal action is taken against anyone who doesn't abide by the Talibani way of life. Can you think of anything of this sort happening in a true democracy? Being a girl and having the right to education and the freedom to put my views across is a privilege I have living in this true democracy. Now you tell me, would you consider our country as democratic or not? Me being able to ask this question and you having the choice to answer it is the biggest proof of how our country truly, truly is democratic. I rest my case. Thank you.
Thank you, Neonika, for that inspiring performance. And with this, today's debate competition comes to an end. I'd like to thank all the participants and judges for making this event a memorable one. Before we move on, I would like to invite Mrs. Jyotsna Verma to say a few words.
Good morning, dear teachers and my lovely students. Yeah, are we truly democratic? What a lovely topic to debate on a day prior to your Republic Day. Am I audible to all of you? Am I audible? All right.
Yes, ma'am.
So what a lovely topic to debate on a day prior to the Republic Day. And the very fact that we have this event shows how democratic we are. We are all speaking for it and all speaking against it. I must thank all of you for being such brilliant speakers. You know, as a teacher in a primary wing, you feel there are times you really want to see how your children are faring when they grow up and how beautifully they mature. And I would like to thank the teachers who've given me an opportunity to witness this event today, to see how you people have honed your skill, how mature you have matured in your ideas, and how beautifully you are enhancing your oratory skills. I must clap each one of you. Very well done. You've all spoken very well. Whether, you know, each of you have been so convincing that it is very, very difficult for me as a judge to judge you. I would have preferred that this event stays as an event instead of a competition where you are supposed to, you know, judge one child from the other. But then this is it. And while I was watching you people, I also understood one more thing, children, that debating is like a life skill. You have divergent point of views, but you still don't lose focus from your own point of view. So it is to honor the other child's point of view, but you have to be focused as to what your idea is. This is a life skill. And having, you know, organizing such events and allowing you to participate is a wonderful thing. Because in these pandemic times, when you're not able to, you know, you're so much into digital world that sometimes your self-expression takes a backseat. You don't get an opportunity in your own homes to express your point of view. So this taking of backseat of the self-expression, you know, you lose out on a lot of things. But today I was able to witness this, let's say, what is the word that I should use? This mega event where all of you were so convincing. Well done, and clap to all the participants. Very well done. But I can see on the judgment sheet that it says it's an event. But the fact that a judgment sheet has been given to us means that it is a competition. And like in every competition, you have to excel. Being a part of the competition means that you have to fight to win. The fact that you are here, all of you, all 11 of you, goes without saying that you're best in your class. That is why you're all here. But despite this, all 11 of you are here to win the competition, to be the best orator. And like they say, it has to be done in the, you know, spirit of the competition. If you win, good. But if you don't win, you have to stand up and clap for the person who's won. Clap for the colleagues who's been there with you. And like I read somewhere MS Dhoni saying, you win, you feel good, you feel happy. If you don't win, you learn so many new things that you feel happy. So it's just a matter whether you win or you lose. You have to take the first step of participating. And I must clap for each one of you who've spoken so well. And you've made all of us as teachers proud that you are maturing into such lovely citizens of our country. All the very best. May the best orator win. And a very happy Republic Day, a day prior. Wishing you in advance a very happy Republic Day. May you all know your duties along with your rights. So both things combined make you a very good citizen. So all the best and good luck.
Thank you so much, ma'am. I would also like to invite our principal, Mrs. Komal Sood, to share her views and enlighten us.
Good morning, children. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Perfect. Jyotsna ma'am, thank you so much. Those were brilliant words. And you know, everything that, and you probably echoed the sentiments that all of us are feeling at the moment. But
Thank
just
you,
to
ma'am.
begin, you know, very happy 73rd Independence, Republic Day. We are so used to talking about the Independence Day that involuntary comes out. But I also wanted to tell you that this year we do celebrate the 75 years of our independence as well. Although it's been 73 years since we became a republic, but this year it's going to be 75 years since we became independent. And if we look at the achievements, we are the fourth largest economy today. We are the fourth most powerful military in the world. In the field of science, we are the fourth nation to have sent a mission to Mars successfully. And you know, you just named the fields, and we've done exceptionally well in all of them. But the most important thing is, this was the past. The next 75 years and more are in your hands, the children. And if you want and have a strong desire, then we can definitely become number one in the world. You know, we've brought, like वो कहते नहीं है कि हम इतनी देर दूर ले आए अपने देश को, अब आपके हाथ है जो आगे क्या करना है. And it's not very difficult. Our only advice, and I say this on behalf of all the teachers, is whatever you do, always ensure that it is in the interest of the nation or the interest of the organization. And I'm adding the Army Public School over here. Let's never ever do anything that's going to harm our country or even the organization. You know, I come across things where I see that children have not done well in terms of putting stuff about the school on Instagram or anywhere else, and it shows the institution in a poor light. You know, that's not what is expected of all of you. And that goes for the nation as well. Every time you do something, please ensure, are you doing something that is going to do good to the country? And if it is, then it's the right thing to do. And like I said, I'm adding the organization, the Army Public School, your alma mater, your school over here. So let's never, ever do anything that is going to show us in poor light. You know, being the Army Public School, obviously we are associated with the Army, and I would say very closely associated. And you're aware that every day soldiers are making sacrifices at the border to keep us, all of us, safe. And we should never, ever forget that. The least we can do is to become worthy of that. And if we keep that in mind, I have no doubt that you will make India proud. And with that, stay safe, stay healthy, God bless, and best wishes. Jai Hind and Jai Bharat.
Thank you so much, ma'am. The results for the competition will be announced shortly. Now, I request you all to sit back and enjoy the various activities put together by the students of 9th.
Before that, I would like to grab the opportunity to appreciate all the participants, hard work of the teachers who have prepared you so well. Let me tell you frankly, children, I was little doubtful when I chose this topic. I thought it is too harsh and hard for class 9 student, how much they understand the importance of democracy, how much they understand constitution, but my heart is now swelling with pride the way you have represented and you have dealt with this topic so thoroughly, befitting of Army Public School Dhalakua. And I just want to wish you all a very, very happy Republic Day in advance. Everything has been said by Komal ma'am and Jyotsna ma'am. But just one thing, now it is reassuring to all of us that you are going to be law-abiding citizens and we are truly headed for a great nation. Thank you, children. Thank you so much.
Good morning, children. Good morning, teachers. I'm Shivani Painter. Thank you for giving me the opportunity, and each one of you spoke amazingly well. It was very difficult for me to, For me, each one of you is the first, the best one. But still, being a competition, we had to choose one of the best. So let's see who wins. And I just pray the best one wins. But never be disheartened. It's a learning experience. And may you all do well in your life. A very happy Republic Day to each one of you. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat, Godspeed. Thank you, children.
Albert Einstein once said, "The strength of the Constitution lies entirely in the determination of each citizen to defend it. Only if every single citizen feels duty bound to do his share in this defense are the constitutional rights secure." On that note, to tell us more about our Constitution and the people who made it, we have the students of class 9G.
जय हिंद। मैं जानवी झा आप सबको गणतंत्र दिवस की ढेर सारी शुभकामनाएं देती हूँ। इस वर्ष हम अपना 73वां गणतंत्र दिवस मनाने जा रहे हैं और इसी शुभ अवसर पर मैंने और मेरे कुछ साथीगणों ने मिलकर उन महान सेनानियों के योगदान के बारे में बात करी है जिन्होंने हमारे संविधान निर्माण में बहुत बड़ा योगदान दिया है। आइए जानते हैं उन सब के बारे में।
दुर्गाबाई देशमुख का जन्म 15 जुलाई 1909 को आंध्र प्रदेश में राजमुंद्री में एक मध्यम स्तर के परिवार में हुआ था। वह भारत की स्वतंत्रता सेनानी, सामाजिक कार्यकर्ता तथा भारतीय संविधान सभा में चुने जाने वाली महिला और स्वतंत्र भारत के पहले वित्त मंत्री चिंतामण राव देशमुख की पत्नी थी। उन्होंने आंध्र महिला सभा की स्थापना 1937 में की थी। वह आजाद भारत में महिलाओं की शिक्षा के लिए बनाई गई पहली योजना राष्ट्रीय महिला शिक्षा समिति की अध्यक्ष भी थी।
डॉक्टर भीमराव अंबेडकर का जन्म 14 अप्रैल 1891 को महोसेना छावनी मध्य प्रदेश में हुआ था। बाबा साहेब डॉक्टर बी.आर. अंबेडकर को भारत का संविधान निर्माता कहा जाता है। डॉक्टर भीमराव अंबेडकर को 29 अगस्त 1947 को संविधान मसौदा समिति के अध्यक्ष के रूप में नियुक्त किया गया था। उनका मानना था कि विभिन्न वर्गों के बीच अंतर को बराबर करना महत्वपूर्ण है, अन्यथा देश की एकता को बनाए रखना बहुत मुश्किल होगा। उन्होंने धार्मिक, लिंग और जाति समानता पर जोर दिया था।
बी.एन. राव का जन्म 26 फरवरी 1887 मंगलुरु, कर्नाटक में हुआ था। बेनेगल नरसिम्हा राव एक भारतीय प्रशासनिक सेवा के अधिकारी एवं अंतर्राष्ट्रीय न्यायालय के न्यायाधीश थे। इन्हें भारतीय संविधान के सलाहकार के रूप में भी जाना जाता है।
कन्हैयालाल माणिकलाल मुंशी का जन्म 30 दिसंबर 1887 को बारूच, गुजरात में हुआ था। वह घनश्याम व्यास के नाम से भी प्रसिद्ध थे। वह संविधान निर्माण समिति के सक्रिय सदस्य थे। उनके आविष्कार मौलिक अधिकारों, नागरिकता और अल्पसंख्यक अधिकारों से संबंधित बहस में थे।
मैं इशिता, लिपिका, प्रथम और स्मृति को धन्यवाद करना चाहूंगी हमें ये जानकारी देने के लिए। मैं आशा करती हूँ आपने इससे कुछ नया सीखा होगा और मुझे यह भी उम्मीद है कि हम सब इन्हीं के बनाए हुए संविधान पे चलेंगे। धन्यवाद। जय हिंद, जय भारत, वंदे मातरम।
उस अद्भुत जानकारी के लिए धन्यवाद। भांति भांति के पंछी है पर बाग तो एक हमारा है। ये बाग है हिंदुस्तान हमें जो प्राणों से भी प्यारा है। इसी के साथ इस अमृत महोत्सव पर मैं अदिति सोलंकी को एक कविता प्रस्तुत करने के लिए आमंत्रित करती हूँ।
हर वर्ष हर हाल में हम अपना गणतंत्र मनाते हैं। जय हिंद, जय भारत माँ की सब नारे यही लगाते हैं। ओलावृष्टि या तूफान चले या कहर कोरोना हो, ठंड सितम ढाए, बर्फ पड़े, देश का कोई भी कोना हो, हर जाति धर्म क्षेत्र नागरिक सब अपना कर्तव्य निभाते हैं। 26 जनवरी की शान की खातिर वीर अपना लहू बहाते हैं। देश प्रदेश और क्षेत्र की राजधानियां सजती हैं। सेना, अर्थ और संस्कृति विकास की झांकी यहाँ जचती हैं। इंडिया गेट है केंद्र जहां पर सभी एकत्र हो आते हैं। खूब जोशो खरोश से राग देश भक्ति का गाते हैं। जय हिंद, जय भारत। धन्यवाद।
Thank you, Aditi. Freedom in the mind, strength in the words, pureness in our blood, pride in our soul, zeal in our hearts. Let's salute our India on Republic Day. 1,000 salutes to the great nation of ours. May it become even more prosperous. Now, I would like to invite Sakshi Pandey to give a speech on this special occasion.
भारत हूँ, मैं ऋषियों के आश्रम में पला हूँ, युग पुरुषों की उंगली थाम कर चला हूँ और संघर्षों की प्रचंड अग्नि में जला हूँ। मेरे इतिहास का पहला पन्ना तब लिखा गया था जब मनुष्य ने समय को दिन और तारीखों में बांटना नहीं सीखा था। आज 26 जनवरी 2022 को इसी भारत के 73वें गणतंत्र दिवस को मनाने के लिए हम सब इस आभासी रूप से एकत्रित हुए हैं। यह हम सब के लिए गौरव एवं खुशी का उत्सव है क्योंकि इसी दिनांक को 1950 में हमारा भारतीय संविधान लागू हुआ था। भारत एक लोकतांत्रिक और गणतंत्र राष्ट्र है और इसका श्रेय हमारे संविधान और उन गुरुजनों एवं महापुरुषों को जाता है जिन्होंने संविधान को रचा। परंतु संविधान की स्थापना होने के बावजूद भारत के सामने ऐसे कई विषम परिस्थितियां थीं जो एक मनुष्य के सपनों को खंडित कर देती हैं। परंतु भारतीय अपने जहन में यह बात आने देते तो कैसे कि जिस भारत को वे खुशियों से सजाना चाहते थे, जिस भारत में वे सद्गुण और सुविचारों से बाहर लाना चाहते थे, उस भारत को वो अपनी आंखों के सामने ऐसे खोते हुए देख रहे थे। और इस खोते हुए भारत का महज एक ही कारण है, अनीति अत्याचार बढ़ रहा, युग का अर्जुन मौन है, अपमानित द्रौपदी पक्ष में बोलने वाला कौन है। परंतु भारतीय अपने सपनों के भारत को ऐसे कैसे खोने देते। इसीलिए कहा गया है, युग के अर्जुन गांडीव उठा लें, गीता का फरमान है, अवगुण के समक्ष झुकेंगे नहीं, हमें करना राष्ट्र सम्मान है, हमें करना राष्ट्र सम्मान है। अगर हमें गणतंत्र को स्वतंत्र करना है तो हमारे लिए यह अति आवश्यक है कि हम अपनी सभ्यता, संस्कृति और वैचारिक स्वतंत्रता को बनाए रखें। और अंत में आप सबसे बस इतना ही अनुरोध करना चाहूंगी कि अपने देश पर सब कुछ न्यौछावर करने और उसे ऊंचाइयों तक पहुंचाने का दृढ़ संकल्प लें। और याद रखें, आप रहें फक्र से मुसलमान, आप रहें फक्र से मुसलमान और हम हिंदू अभिमानी हो। तुम रंगो हरे हम भगवाने, पर खून से हिंदुस्तानी हो। धन्यवाद।
धन्यवाद साक्षी। कविता वह होती है जिन भावनाओं को विचार मिल जाता है, विचारों को शब्द मिल जाते हैं और उन शब्दों को उनका अर्थ मिल जाता है। इसी के साथ मैं संकल्प शोभित का हमें कविताओं की खास दुनिया में ले जाने के लिए आह्वान करती हूँ।
नमस्कार सभी को, मैं संकल्प शोभित कक्षा 9C का छात्र आज गणतंत्र दिवस के इस अवसर पर आप सभी के सामने एक कविता प्रस्तुत करने जा रहा हूँ। ये वो मिट्टी है हिंदुस्तान की जहाँ हर शहीद खून अमर हुआ है। यह है पवित्रता का वो स्थल जहाँ कण कण में भगवान बसा हुआ है। यह है जमीन उन देवी देवताओं की जहाँ आस्था कभी कम न हुई। यह है जमीन उस खुदा की जहाँ बंदगी कभी कम न हुई। यह है वो पेड़ जहाँ हर हिंदुस्तानी को शीतल छांव मिली। यहाँ है नदियां जिन्होंने हर हिंदुस्तानी की प्यास बुझाई। यह है वो सितारों से भरा आकाश जहाँ हर मेहनती सितारा चमकता है। ये है वो पक्षियों का महल जहाँ हर पक्षी निडर है और आजाद उड़ाने भरता है। ये है वो बगीचा जहाँ हर सुंदर फूल साथ खिला है। ये है उस ज्ञानी का घर जहाँ हर समय ज्ञान का दीपक जलता है। ये है वो बंधन भाईचारे का जहां पूरा हिंदुस्तान एक है। ये है वो परिवार जहां हर धर्म समान है। पर फिर भी मैं पंजाबी, मैं बंगाली, मैं मराठा, मैं गुजराती, कुछ गिने चुने लोग बनाना चाह रहे हैं अपनी नई पहचान। शायद ना रहा उन्हें अब भारत शब्द का भी भान। ए मूर्ख लोगों, ना सोचना तुम होगे कामयाब, क्योंकि भारत के पास है उसका वो सशक्त संविधान जिसने हर वासी को संवैधानिक ताकत दी, क्योंकि भारत के पास है उसका दृढ़ संविधान। गणतंत्र दिवस के इस अवसर पर आप सभी को मेरी ओर से हार्दिक शुभकामनाएं।
Thank you so much, Sankalp. That was a very beautiful poem. Life is a dance. You learn as you go. Sometimes you lead, sometimes you follow. Don't worry about what you don't know. Life is a dance. You learn as you go. Since we are talking about dance, I would like to call Sadhna Shah of class 9D to give us a beautiful performance.
मेरी ज़मीं अफ़सोस नहीं जो तेरे लिए सौ दर्द सहे, महफूज रहे तेरी आन सदा, चाहे जान मेरी ये रहे न रहे। मेरी ज़मीं महबूब मेरी, मेरी नस नस में तेरा इश्क बहे, फीका न पड़े कभी रंग तेरा जिस्मों से निकल के खून कहे। अरसों से भरे कल्याण मेरे, जहाँ झूम के भंगड़ा पा न सका, आबाद रहे वो गांव मेरा जहाँ लौट के वापस जा न सका। ओ हीर मेरी तू हंसती रहे, तेरी आंख घड़ी भर नम ना हो, मैं मरता था जिस मुखड़े पे कभी उसका उजाला कम ना हो। ओ माई मेरी क्या फिक्र तुझे, क्यों आँख से दरिया बहता है, तू कहती थी तेरा चांद हूँ मैं और चांद हमेशा रहता है। तेरी मिट्टी में मिल जावा गुल बन के मैं खिल जावा, इतनी सी है दिल की आरज़ू। तेरी नदियों में बह जावा, तेरी फसलों में लहरावा, इतनी सी है दिल की आरज़ू।
Thank you, Sadhna, for adding charm to this event with your wondrous performance. A play, a skit, an enactment, all in one word.
Good morning. It seems that Tejaswini ma'am just got disconnected. So just wait for some moments. She will join again.
बच्चों, क्या आपको पता है कि 26 जनवरी के दिन क्या हुआ था?
सर, इस दिन देश आजाद हुआ था। इनकलाब जिंदाबाद।
अभी चुप कर, इस दिन भारत का संविधान बना था।
तुम्हारा जवाब पूरी तरह सही नहीं है, क्योंकि 26 जनवरी को हमारा संविधान लागू हुआ था। इसका निर्माण तो लागू होने के 3 महीने पहले ही हो चुका था, जो कि है 26 जनवरी 1949।
सर, क्या फर्क पड़ता है 26 जनवरी हो या 15 अगस्त? देश आजाद ही तो हुआ था ना।
अच्छा बेटा, मैं तुम्हें पास कर दूं या फेल, क्या ही फर्क पड़ता है। ये आजकल के बच्चे भी ना अपने देश के बारे में भी नहीं जानते।
नहीं नहीं सर, सॉरी, आप ही बताइए कैसे बना हमारा संविधान।
तुम्हारे प्रश्न ने मुझे एक मशहूर गीत की कुछ मधुर पंक्तियां याद दिला दी। ध्यान से सुनो इस कहानी को।
जब जीरो दिया मेरे भारत ने मेरे भारत ने, दुनिया को तब गिनती आई, तारों की भाषा भारत ने।
भारत की 1947 में आज़ादी के बाद देश को आगे बढ़ाने का सवाल उठा। भारत में अनेक संस्कृतियां होने के कारण देश को एकजुट रखने के लिए एक संविधान की जरूरत थी। इसी के चलते 12 प्रांतों से 229 और रियासतों से कुल 70 लोगों ने मिलकर संविधान सभा का निर्माण किया। इसमें 15 महिला प्रतिनिधियां भी शामिल थीं।
दुनिया को पहले सिखलाई, देता न दशमलव भारत, तो यूं चांद पे जाना मुश्किल था। धरती और चांद की दूरी का अंदाजा लगाना मुश्किल था।
भारत के आजाद होने के कुछ दिनों के अंदर एक संविधान निर्माण सभा तैयार हुई, जिसके नेता डॉक्टर भीमराव अंबेडकर थे। इस सभा की बैठक लगभग 3 साल के अवधि में कुल 166 दिन तक चली, जिसके उपरांत भारत का संविधान बनकर तैयार हो गया। भारत का संविधान दुनिया का सबसे बड़ा संविधान कहलाता है।
सभ्यता जहाँ पहले आई, सभ्यता जहाँ पहले आई, पहले जन्मी है जहाँ पे कला। अपना भारत वो भारत है जिसके पीछे संसार चला, संसार चला और आगे बढ़ा, यूं आगे बढ़ा बढ़ता ही गया। भगवान का ये और बढ़े, बढ़ता ही रहे और फूले फले, बढ़ता ही रहे। और
भारत का जनतंत्र दुनिया का सबसे बड़ा जनतंत्र है। इसके संविधान में कुल 1,45,000 शब्द हैं। इसकी तुलना में यूएस का संविधान, जो कि दुनिया का सबसे पुराना संविधान है, उसमें मात्र 4,400 शब्द हैं।
है प्रीत जहाँ की रीत सदा,
भारत के संविधान के निर्माण के बाद 80 सालों के दौरान कुल 103 संशोधन लाए गए, जबकि अमेरिकी संविधान में लगभग 27 संशोधन लाए गए। भारत ने अपने संविधान को बनाने के लिए कई राज्यों से संविधानों से प्रेरित होकर अपने संविधान में भी उनके कई विचारों का उपयोग किया है।
प्रीत जहाँ की रीत सदा, है प्रीत जहाँ की रीत सदा, मैं गीत वहाँ के गाता हूँ। भारत का रहने वाला हूँ, भारत की बात सुनाता हूँ।
भारत के संविधान ने देश को एकजुट कर भारत को आज़ाद देश घोषित कर दिया। हमें यह नहीं भूलना चाहिए कि संविधान के निर्माण के पीछे ऐसे कई व्यक्तियों का हाथ है जिन्हें वह मान्यता नहीं मिलती जिनके वह हकदार हैं। हमें हमारे संविधान वह उन लोगों पर गर्व होना चाहिए जिन्होंने अपनी जान इस देश के नाम कर दी। जय हिंद।
हमारा नाता है, हमको हमें प्यार निभाना आता है। जिसे मान चुकी सारी दुनिया हो, जिसे मान चुकी सारी दुनिया, मैं बात वही दोहराता हूँ। भारत का रहने वाला हूँ, भारत की बात सुनाता हूँ। है प्रीत जहाँ की रीत सदा।
क्या हमारी कहानी है, हमारी पहचान तो बस इतनी सी है कि हम सब हिंदुस्तानी हैं। तो समझे बच्चों, हमारे संविधान की क्या कहानी थी?
हाँ सर, आपकी कहानी ने यह सिखा दिया है कि हमें बस देश की आज़ादी को ही नहीं बल्कि संविधान को भी याद रखना चाहिए।
सर, आजकल कई जगह हमारे संविधान का पालन नहीं किया जा रहा है, तो हमें हर कार्य करते वक्त हमें संविधान को याद रखना चाहिए और उसका पालन करना चाहिए।
हाँ सर, अब मैं समझ गया संविधान का महत्व। अब आप मेरे मार्क्स तो नहीं काटोगे ना सर?
अरे नहीं बेटा, बस इतना याद जरूर रखना कि हमें हमेशा हमारे देश पर गर्व होना चाहिए। ये आन बान शान है, देश का स्वाभिमान है। चले वतन, इसी से ही ये हमारा संविधान है।
अपने प्रेरक प्रदर्शन के लिए धन्यवाद। कविताएं सभी ज्ञान का आदि और अंत है। यह इतना ही अमर है जितना मानव का हृदय। अपनी कविता के साथ हम सबको प्रोत्साहित करने के लिए मैं हिमांशु को इस मंच पर आमंत्रित करती हूँ।
हम आज़ादी के मतवाले झूमे सीना ताने, हर साल मनाते उत्सव गणतंत्र का मजहब जाने। संविधान की भाषा बोले, रग रग में कर्तव्य धोले। गुलामी की बेड़ियों को जब रावी तट पर तोड़ा था, उसी अवसर पर तो हमने संविधान से नाता जोड़ा था। हर साल हमें उसी अवसर पर गणतंत्र उत्सव मनाते हैं। पूरा भारत झूमता रहता है और हम नाचते गाते हैं। रास सीना की पहाड़ी से शेर ए भारत बिगुल बजाता है। अपने शहीदों को करके याद, पुनः शक्ति पा जाता है। धन्यवाद।
Thank you, Himanshu. India is the cradle of human race, the birthplace of human speech, the mother of history, the grandmother of legend, and the great grandmother of tradition. The most valuable and the most artistic materials in the history of a man are treasured up in India only. Now it's time to call Aditi Solanki for a solo role play performance.
काशी में जन्मी ब्राह्मणी, पेशवाओं ने पाले सींचे। रण बाखुरों की नाई, हथियार चलाने सारे सीखे। खेले खेल अनोखे, मणिकर्णिका मनु कहलाई। विवाह हुआ झांसी आई, रानी लक्ष्मी बाई कहाई। वीरों से भी वीर वीरांगना, रण बाखुरी ऐसी थी। डरते थे अंग्रेज भयंकर, खूंखार शेरनी जैसी थी। लड़की थी, लड़ सकती थी, लड़ी देश बचाने को। अंतिम सांस तक था झंडा ऊंचा, खुशी यह बताने को। ले सकूं प्रेरणा देश की नारी, स्वाभिमान बचाने को। मत डरना तुम मरने से, मत भगना मुंह छिपाने को। जय हिंद, जय भारत। धन्यवाद।
Thank you, Aditi. That was indeed a delightful performance. Art is standing with one hand extended into the universe and one hand extended into the world and letting ourselves be a conduit for passing energy, said Albert Einstein. Mankind has been creating and appreciating art since its very beginnings, whether it's an ancient cave painting, the work of the famed masters of Renaissance. Art has the capacity to capture a moment in time and stir up our emotions. So, let me take you through an excursion of the artwork display, specially curated for you by the students of APSTK.
Thank you so much. That was a very beautiful presentation. Bad officials are elected by good citizens who don't vote. Now, to further elaborate on this topic, I would like to call Ritika to give us a beautiful message on the importance of voting.
26 जनवरी को आता हमारा गणतंत्र दिवस, जिसे मिलकर मनाते हैं हम हर वर्ष। इस विशेष दिन भारत बना था प्रजातंत्र। इसके पहले तक लोग न थे पूर्ण रूप से स्वतंत्र। इसके लिए किए लोगों ने अनगिनत संघर्ष। गणतंत्र प्राप्ति से लोगों को मिला नया उत्कर्ष। गणतंत्र द्वारा मिला लोगों को मतदान का अधिकार, जिससे बनी देश भर में जनता की सरकार। इसलिए दोस्तों, तुम गणतंत्र का महत्व समझो। चंद पैसों के खातिर अपना मतदान न बेचो, क्योंकि यदि न रहेगा हमारा ये गणतंत्र, तो हमारा भारत देश फिर से हो जाएगा परतंत्र। तो आओ हम सब मिलकर लें प्रतिज्ञा, मानेंगे संविधान की हर बात, न करेंगे इसकी अवज्ञा। हैप्पी रिपब्लिक डे टू ऑल।
आन देश की शान देश की हम संतान हैं। 3 रंगों से रंगा तिरंगा, अपनी यह पहचान है। Our tricolor flag is not only an identity, but also an epitome of commitment and dedication.
With this, the program comes to an end, but the fire in our hearts that makes us proud of all that our ancestors have achieved, the fire that has made it possible for us to be standing here, the fire that makes us proud to call ourselves Indians, shall never come to an end. I'd like to thank each and everyone for being here with us today. Once again, a very happy Republic Day. Jai Hind.
Anuma ma'am.
Yes, hello ma'am. Yes, please.
Yes. So can we end this meeting now?
Yes, ma'am.
Thanks a lot, Anuma ma'am. Thank you, Tejaswini ma'am, and thanks to all the participants. So
thank you everyone. Thank you so much.
All of you may leave the meeting. Anuma ma'am, you can end this meeting now. Thank you.